Hey guys, so the Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun, and Adventures in Faerun books came out this week for early access, and I'm going over all the subclasses. I already went over the Oath of the Noble Genie's Paladin and the Scion of the Three Rogue, and now I'm going to be going over the College of the Moon Bard. If you're new to the channel, by the way, hi, I'm Warners. I make tons of D&D content here on YouTube, and then I also come out with a monthly PDF document on my Patreon with a 2024 rules compatible subclass. This month I came out with the Path of the Executioner Barbarian, super cool subclass, and if you want to check it out, just go down below and click on my Patreon link. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and go over the subclass. All right, so we have this awesome art for the College of the Moon Bard. I really like this Bard subclass, and I could definitely see myself playing this at a table. I don't know how far I would go into the class. I would probably multi-class it, but I do really like it. So we have College of the Moon Bard, inspire allies with primal tales. College of the Moon traces its origins to the ancient druidic circles of the Moonshae Isles, who entrusted the first bards of this tradition with chronicling the stories of the islands and their people. Bards of this college draw from the Isles' fey magic and the primal power of the moonwells to bolster their allies, protect the natural world, and inspire their bardic works. So our first ability is Moon's Inspiration. This is changed significantly from the playtest. The primal and ever-changing power of the moon flows through you, granting you the following benefits. When you take a bonus action to give a creature a Bardic Inspiration die, you can have the invisible condition and teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see as part of that bonus action. This invisibility lasts until the start of your next turn and ends early immediately after you make an attack roll, deal damage, or cast a spell. So this is really good ability. It's just extra stuff on something you would be doing anyway. You definitely want to do this after you do your main action because it works just like the invisibility spell, where if you do any other actions, for the most part, the invisibility will go away. So you're gonna cast whatever spell you want to cast, bonus action inspire your friend, teleport 30 feet away, and you're invisible to the start of your next turn. So yeah, pretty simple, good option. Then we have Lunar Vitality. Once per turn, when you restore hit points to a creature with a spell, you can expend a Bardic Inspiration die and increase the amount of hit points restored by a number equal to a roll of the Bardic Inspiration die. Creature speed also increases by 10 feet until the start of its next turn. This ability, I don't think it's as good, but the only reason why is because Inspired Eclipse is really good, in my opinion. And your Bardic Inspiration die is always only your Charisma mod times per long rest, and eventually you get it per short rest. So you don't have that many uses of it. But there'll be situations where someone got real hurt and you need to emergency heal them as much as possible, and this will be nice to have. All right, then we have level 3 Primal Lore. You learn Druidic and 1 cantrip from the Druid spell list. Counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of cantrips you know. Whenever you gain a bard level, you can replace this cantrip with another cantrip of your choice from the Druid spell list. So yeah, this is a nice little ability. Get a Druid cantrip. I'd probably do something like Thorn Whip or something like that, especially with the level 6 ability. But you also additionally choose one of the following skills: animal handling, insight, medicine, nature, perception, or survival, and you gain proficiency in that skill. So nice. And then we got this ability, Blessing of Moonlight. This is an ability that is a bit contentious online. I've been reading people's opinions on it in forums. Let's go ahead and read it and then I'll tell you my opinion. So you always have the Moonbeam spell prepared. Nice. Also, Moonbeam is way better in this version than it was in 2014 rules, so keep that in mind. When you cast Moonbeam, you can modify the spell so that you glow faintly while the spell is active. While glowing, you shed dim light out to 5 feet, and whenever a creature fails its saving throw against the effects of this Moonbeam, another creature of your choice that you can see within 60 feet of yourself regain 2d4 hit points. Once you use this feature to modify a casting of Moonbeam, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So there's a lot to talk about with this ability. First of all, a lot of people online are talking about how this makes you glow and it makes you shed dim light out to 5 feet, and how it doesn't work very well with the invisibility ability you get at level 3. But one thing that's good to keep in mind about D&D rules is D&D rules sometimes don't make sense in our heads, but they make sense mechanically. If you read the invisible condition, it says this on the concealed section: concealed, you aren't affected by any effect that requires its target to be seen. unless the effect's creator can somehow see you. Any equipment you are wearing or carrying is also concealed. Attacks affected. Attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and your attack rolls have advantage. If a creature can somehow see you, you don't gain this benefit against that creature. So if I want to rules lawyer it, I would say that just because light is coming off of you, they technically can't see you. I definitely understand what people are saying, and I feel like a lot of DMs wouldn't rule it this way, but technically they can't see you. They can just see the light. So I don't think people should be that concerned, and I definitely don't think it was ruled as intended at the very least. Another thing to keep in mind, this is something that I misread, and I'm glad that I was wrong. So in the 2024 rules, there's been a lot of abilities that give you access to a spell, and a lot of those abilities you can't upcast the spell because they give you a free use of it, and when you use the free use, it is just the baseline level of the spell. But this is not how this ability works. You do not get a free use of the spell. It's just once per day you can modify Moonbeam. So don't worry, you can upcast Moonbeam and still use this ability. So that's good to know. And then a lot of people forget that how Moonbeam works now. First of all, they take the damage at the end of their turn, targets that are inside of it. But also, as an action, you can move the Moonbeam 60 feet, and any creatures that the Moonbeam enters their space have to make a saving throw. And 60 feet is pretty far. You could potentially run this through a bunch of creatures, do a ton of damage, and also heal every single time a creature fails 2d4 hit points to someone. And then another thing that people have been saying is if you read it, it says, whenever a creature fails its saving throw against the effects of this Moonbeam, another creature of your choice that you can see within 60 feet of yourself regains 2d4 hit points. A lot of people are saying online that this means you can't heal yourself with this ability, but I don't interpret it that way. I think the reason why they're saying another creature is because the spell initially targets creatures that fail saving throws, and it's trying to say not the creatures that are taking damage, but a different creature. So I think that's why it says another creature. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about it. Anyway, though, the last thing is that it's only once per long rest. That's my least favorite part about this ability. I actually really like this ability. I just wish you could use it more. I'm really bummed out that it's only once per long rest. Now we have the level 14 ability. You become suffused with the might of the moon, improving your moon's inspiration in the following ways. Oh, it's called Eventide Splendor, by the way. So we have Shadow of the New Moon. When you use Inspired Eclipse, that's the teleport ability. The creature who received the Bardic Inspiration die can also have the invisible condition and immediately take a reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. The creature remains invisible until the start of your next turn. So that is a pretty sweet little ability. Basically, you can give the people you bardically inspire the same ability that you do yourself, where you teleport and become invisible. They do use their reaction though, so they no longer have their reaction. And then also they remain invisible until the start of their turn. And so as soon as their turn starts, they will no longer be invisible. So they can't do anything like attack invisibly or anything. And then we get Vibrance of the Full Moon. When you use Lunar Vitality, you can roll 1d6 and use the number rolled in place of expending a Bardic Inspiration die. This makes this ability actually usable. Again, it's not a ton of extra healing, but basically anytime you heal now, you can add a d6 without having to spend a Bardic Inspiration. So that is nice. I just wish it happened a bit earlier. Honestly, if this was the secondary ability you got with the subclass, I don't think that would be too overpowered. And then maybe a different capstone ability. So yeah, just my thoughts on it. I really do like this Bard subclass, and I think it is definitely very thematic, and I love thematics. My favorite Druid subclass is the Circle of Stars Druid, and this very much has the same vibes, so definitely a fan of that. Let me know what you guys think about this subclass down in the comments, and I will continue to make more videos on these subclasses. So if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing down below and ringing the bell. And thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.